You know Dasher, and Dancer, and Prancer, and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen.
Hello everybody, it's the Christmasing Day 11, it's Christmas Eve! Okay, this will go up on Channel Awesome on Christmas Eve, it'll probably be just posted on the day before, but... what did we watch? We watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. One of the most classic and iconic television Christmas specials. I love you, wife. She's angry. She didn't like it. Poke. So, this is another Rankin Bass stop motion animation. And it's sung and narrated by Burl Ives, the famous American folk singer.
I'm glad he's dead.
Oh, he died I think he died of cancer.
He was involved in this.
Well, he did nothing.
Cancer was not the worst thing he was involved in.
Oh my God, what a horrible thing to say.
What a horrible thing to watch.
We live in an apartment building. You're gonna get the police called on us. But yeah, so this is the story, obviously just described in the song and embellished a wee bit. And the plot.
I'm sorry. I must have missed the dentistry faggot and Great John Umber and the fucking I was willing to accept the fact that look, we put the Abominable Snowman in there even though we can't fucking call it the Abominable Snowman. We gotta call it the Abominable Snow Monster because we're fucking
could they not
morons.
get the rights or something?
But then they fucking landed at Toy Story 4
with Aslan the lion.
Yeah, run by Aslan. Are you fucking kidding me? This thing was almost tolerable when it was following the story, and if it had just followed the story and been 25 minutes long, it would have been almost tolerable. They added half of this extraneous stuff. This is the equivalent of having a film based on a famous song that has a narrative. Not a good narrative, a shit narrative, but still a narrative. And then randomly adding an incongruous gang rape in the middle of it that lasts for half of it.
If you've never seen this before, nobody gets gang raped, I promise you. There's no gang rape in it.
Yeah, I'm not actually talking about the level of subject matter. It's just because it makes no fucking sense with the rest of it.
Just went mental for the entire thing. It was fantastic. But, so this follows the story of the titular Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from his birth possessing a red nose, and Santa shows up literally he's just been born, and he's like, "Whoa, look at that red nose, well, I'll be gross out of it." And his dad's the classic football dad. He's like, I'm the great Dasher, so you're gonna be my son, and that's awesome.
And that's the almost tolerable stuff.
So he makes, his nose is exposed during the reindeer games, which is kind of like football practice, but only for the Bucks. Apparently, if you're a doe, you can't, pull Santa's sleigh. And here's the thing, okay, not to be an SJW, but I didn't realize how kind of sexist this is. Rudolph's mom said she wanted to come look for him, but Dasher said no, it was a job for men. And then, manly men in tights. Yeah, and then, later on, they were they decided the most important thing was getting the women home. And I was like, oh, it's really cringy. But so then, you also have the elves of Santa's Workshop. Oh! And they're kind of like the Doozers from Fraggle Rock, in that they're everything about them is an arrow tightly nocked and drawn, pointed at the target of pleasing Santa and just making toys, and that's it. And you have this one elf called Hermie who doesn't have elf ears, so I suspect he's like Link. He's actually a human child who was abandoned with the elves, and he's like, why don't I want to be an elf? Well, because you're a human child. But don't worry, once you get the Ocarina of Time and you get the Master Sword in the ground, you can slay Ganondorf, it's fine.
And he's codedly gay.
It is, that's really bad. I mean, I'm sure we are definitely not the first people to say, I wonder if that's an allegory for homosexuality. I'm sure we're not the first people to say that. But so then he leaves his job, and then Rudolph has been humiliated, so they strike off together, and they sing a song. Everyone has to sing a fucking song, because it's a Rankin Bass special. So they're also dodging the Abominable Snow Monster, and they run into Yukon Cornelius, who is an occasionally Canadian, occasionally American... What did you call him?
Great John Umber.
No, before that, we were watching it.
a walking failed WWE gimmick.
Your hair is all askew. I'm helping. Yeah, and he's a prospector with a team of wee dogs. Like, one's a poodle, and one's a really small Saint Bernard, and one's like a Shih Tzu that pull his team.
Someone had a really charming idea and charming in quotation marks for this little story that made no fucking sense, and then they finally got a budget for a Rudolph story, and they were like, okay, I'm gonna jam my story into this, and no one will notice.
They also
Fuckers.
we've got Burr lives. So they were running with the abominable snow monster, and they trick him because he can't go in the water by like they run to the edge of the ice and they chip it off, and they sail all night through fog to the island of misfit toys, where there's Dawnraiser, who's the king, who is a winged lion.
This is where I fully broke down.
She was like, what? What the fuck is happening?
You know, otherwise...
Did you think that we were still on the bus back from Belfast and you were asleep and dreaming?
Briefly.
So every night, Dawnraiser, the winged lion, as weird as that sounds, flies all over the earth, and he finds misfit toys that nobody wants, and he brings them back to the island. Among them being a Charlie in the box, a cowboy who rides an ostrich instead of a horse, which is fine. He just rides a chocobo, whatever. I can't remember a toy boat that sinks.
I think that's called a submarine. Yeah, then there's a bird that swims, and that's its problem. That's called a fucking penguin.
But yeah, so then they promised the king of the misfit toys, Dawnraiser. He's like, you can't stay here. This is not a place for living beings. It's a place for magically animated toys. Apparently, you have to go back. Rudolph's like, I'll tell Santa about you.
Is the lion not alive?
No, he's a toy. He's the lion with wings. That's a pretty misfit toy. But the lion is the king of all beasts classically, so that's why he's the king of the island. Duh. Although they never say who built his castle, but whatever. Or why he has a castle, but all the misfit toys live in tents on the ice pack and like huddle around miserable fires.
You fuckers couldn't even make your pointless shit make fucking sense with it, so they're pointless shit.
No, that's not in the Christmas spirit.
You know, I'll tell you what the Christmas spirit is. It's the whiskey over there.
We do. We have 2 kinds of whiskey in the house right now. But, so yeah, so they ask Rudolph, when you go back to Christmas Town, please tell Santa about us, you know. So they're gonna sit up the next morning, but Rudolph's like, nah, it's my nose that attracts the abominable snow monster. So he leaves in the night by himself. And then he spends several months having adventures, apparently, and growing his antlers, and he comes back all grown up. But come to find out, his dad, and then his mom and Clarice, his little reindeer girlfriend, separately have gone and been looking for him for months. And Santa's like, well, they were looking for you, and it's 2 days to Christmas. So he's like, I know where I'll find them, the cave of the abominable snow monster, because apparently they've been there for months, and he's just getting around to eating them now. And there's a fight.
And he's like, Clarice.
And so the elf and the prospector managed to incapacitate the abominable snowman.
And then the
elf pulls all his teeth.
The dentistry.
I don't remember that part.
Pulls his teeth out, leaving this wild animal without any way to eat. This meat-eating wild animal.
I'm like, what? He's gonna starve to death. And so Yukon Cornelius tackles him off a cliff with his dogs and dies a tragic death, and everyone goes home. But Christmas is imperiled because there's the storm of the century on, and apparently Santa is complying with FAA regulations, and because everything is grounded, he can't fly. So he's like, that's it, everyone, Christmas is canceled. And Yukon Cornelius comes back with the now tamed and reformed abominable snow monster, who is now employed putting the star on the top of the tree in Santa's workshop.
Oh, that's a full-time job.
Yep.
And it'll pay for his ground-up meal that used to be like, you know, meat that they've sort of put into a fucking blender because the guy can't actually eat proper food again because of the little dentistry wannabe elf.
Oh yeah, so everyone's like, oh,
Will
you guys
Ferrell
are back
looking.
and you're awesome now, and the head elf says that, oh, you can open a dentist studio, and
He's not even learned dentistry. He's just a crazy person with a fucking...
He read it in a
pulls
book.
teeth.
He can't get licensed.
He's like Quentin Crisp crossed with Will Ferrell.
So Santa's like, look, everybody, I gotta cancel Christmas because the storm. Rudolph, your nose is glowing in my face. And he realizes, wait a second.
And you know why Santa hates the fucking red nose on him? And it's a perfectly logical reason.
Go on.
It makes a fucking really loud flute noise.
It makes a dissonant flute noise. Like, I don't know who thought this was a good idea to represent the nose glowing, but it makes an awful noise.
No, it's just an audio representation of how awful everything else is.
So basically,
Fuck
Rudolph
you,
gets
thing.
to lead the team.
Fuck you.
The first place they go is the Island of Misfit Toys, where the Misfit Toys have just about given up hope this Christmas, and Santa comes and they hop into his pack, and then, well, the credit sequence goes on, and Burl Ives sings Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They are parachuted.
Fuck you, Burl Ives.
The Misfit Toys are parachuted down into children's homes, and everyone is happy.
Not happy.
You're really angry, aren't you?
Fuck you, everyone involved in this. I don't care if you're dead. I don't care how painfully you died.
So angry. This is for children.
Fuck you, children. Fuck every single child in the fucking world.
Because you have seen so many films that's based on a myth or loose narrative that's part of, like, common culture that's embellished the fuck out of. And don't tell me that you haven't.
Yes, I have.
And you don't react like this.
Because with this one, what you have is a 25-minute, accurate-ish, tolerable sort of version of the fucking irritating story. And then this one, which goes fucking left field for huge chunks in it. It stops so Burl Ives can sing a song about silver and gold that apparently was in his contract because it was actually like his songs.
That's only what I heard. I have no...
That's what irritated me. Otherwise, I would be nowhere near this angry.
You got, like, these silver...
They doubled
of Burl Ives. You might as well use them.
They doubled the length of the thing. If they'd done like Christmas Carol and they doubled the length of it so that Ebenezer Scrooge can go off to the fucking sun and meet aliens, I would be just as irritated.
His adventures trading in the Far East.
And it's not even like it was...
That'd actually be pretty cool.
It's not even good while it's doing this. It's shit when it's doing this.
It was really good tech for the time. I think it was made in the 60s.
It was
really good stop
shit.
motion tech for the time.
That's why I'm irritated. It's overly long, it makes no fucking sense with the subject matter, and it's crap. And I'm fucking exhausted.
Sure, did it make you feel warm and aglow with the Christmas spirit?
If I felt any kind of glow after this, I would cut it off and feed it to a fucking elf. And hope that it fucking choked them.
See, I have some questions about the elves, because they all look the same, except for the one tall, nerdy one that kind of looks like Elvis Costello a wee bit.
Elvis Costello.
And then the big fat one who's the leader of them. No,
Elvis Presley.
Like, I mean, so we know that, like, the reindeer reproduce, you know. And, like, because that's the thing, because Santa's like, oh, make your elf song quick.
Because Rudolph is the son of Donner, apparently.
Oh, yeah, Donner,
so
not Dasher.
So it's like the Donner party. You know, I was hoping for cannibalism.
Well, no, it's like, no, I have to go review the new books.
Denied.
So apparently there's, like, this whole process. And then I'm like, what is, like, reindeer society? Like, because only some of them can be on Santa's team, but none of them will replace their famous fathers yet. And then, like, I mean, what do the does do? Like, the whole time. I mean, female elves are shown working with their male counterparts.
They take part in an adaptation of that classic Mary Poppins song, the Do Re Mi thing.
That's not Mary Poppins. That's from Sound of Music.
Okay, I'm really tired, but still.
Actually, that's sometimes played as a Christmas song as well.
Adapt that, and they go on adventures that make no fucking sense, where they fucking go to the sun and meet aliens.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of My Favorite Things. These are a few of my favorite things.
I don't
remember any of the actual lines.
A female deer song. That one.
Yeah, that's
another crappy
that's from Sound of Music.
stop motion thing.
No, it's not. The Sound of Music has Julie Andrews in it.
No, I'm talking about they adapt that song into a crappy stop motion thing like that. That's 50 minutes long, where they go on huge detours and introduce characters that have nothing to do with the fucking narrative, and it's all really irritating. That's what the does do in this. And then I want them dead. It's a full-time job.
Oh snap. You know, like, probably a lot of our audience, like, cherishes this. Well, if they're our age, might cherish this. I don't know.
That's their problem.
I don't know if they still show this on American television. I know they used to every year. But
guys, this is what I'm like whenever I see a new episode of Doctor Who, that Toddy Who episode, before I've articulated into the structured anger of Toddy Who.
That's actually pretty accurate. Although, if you have any question, if you're young enough that you've never seen many of these, I want to let you know that some of them are on YouTube in their entirety, and pretty much all of them are on Dailymotion. Some of them are out in DVD. So if you're like, oh, that sounds really crazy, but, you know, I'm like 16, but, you know, I watch you guys, but I've never seen this on TV, go check them out on YouTube or Dailymotion.
Dailymotion is a warning to us all.
You're feeling awfully apocalyptic tonight.
Expect, just watch that shit.
It's not shit! It's like one of the most well-regarded, most classic and iconic children's specials.
That's because Americans are stupid.
Hey! It's awesome. Alright, it's not awesome, but it's not bad. It's not as bad as you're calling it. Well, okay, so there's a really strong narrative in there for children about, like, don't worry if you're different, because, like, sure, it'll be grand in the end.
Yeah, the song had that too.
Eventually someone will
Everything
appreciate you.
The stuff I'm really, really bitching about had nothing to do with that. They added it because they needed to make it 50 minutes for some reason just to torment
Well,
me.
it might have been in the contract, like the television studio or whatever company hired them, or commissioned the work might have said, this is great as a 25-minute thing. We want this to be kind of nearly feature length. I want this to be like almost a full hour with commercial breaks. So I mean, what if the true story is that it was just about Rudolph, but then they had to add all that other stuff?
Well, then they were fucking idiots for not just doing a second story thing.
What do you mean? Like just doing
well,
two specials?
Manborg were told, Manborg signed a contract saying that they need to make the film a certain length. They'd already filmed the film and made it, and it was nowhere near that length. They lengthened the credits as much as they could to make it up to the legal length for the contract. They still couldn't make it as long as that long. So what they did was they spent more money than they spent on the entirety of the film on making a short trailer to stick at the end, which would technically be part of the film, but not actually, as a separate narrative. And they got round that. They could have done something like that. Just do a separate storyline and have them bundled together. People do this all the time. Like, Meet the Feebles. Peter Jackson's Meet the Feebles.
If you haven't seen it, you really need to see it.
Peter Jackson funded this in a very, very clever way by the one part of it which was a recreation of basically Muppet Vietnam, where you see the Kermit sort of XP, who's a drug addict. You see his flashbacks to him being in Vietnam and getting tortured deer hunter style.
If the sentence Kermit's acid flashbacks to Vietnam appealed to you, you really do need to see Beat the Peoples. I'm sure it's available on DVD.
But his whole section, that was a short film called Frogs of War, and it was funded as a short film through a commission, New Zealand commission.
Okay.
And they used the fact that they had that. They didn't have to pay for that for the full feature film, so that they got around that by treating it as a separate film. People do this sort of thing. They didn't need to add all that.
Stop shouting. We live in an apartment building. So, this has been a rousing success. I think I might be sleeping on the couch until Christmas. I mean, it's actually a few days before Christmas Eve. We're not actually filming these the day of, because that would be crazy. So, we have one more day left. It is 12 Lords of Leaping. What will be our top spot on the 12 days of Christmas, you'll find out right after the fade. And it's one of my personal favorites. Maybe not my top favorite, but one that I thought that she might like a lot. She's rocking back and forth now. We're ending the video. Come back and smile for the camera.
Fuck everyone.
They're your fans too.
Fuck everyone.
Mostly they're your fans. So we love you, audience, and Merry Christmas. I hope Santa comes for you tonight. And, we will see you tomorrow.